What is up, guys? Welcome to No Bias MMA, and I'm back with more skills that will hopefully lead to paying my bills. It's been a while, guys. I've been really working on my editing skills a lot more, but I want to talk to you about some new matchups. We got DDP versus BBD, but no, BSD, Benoit Saint Denis, and what a certified banger. This fight is nothing but action. Uh, it's hard to favor one or the other in this matchup because where does this fight take place? I think that's the question we're all asking. Will BSD implement his game plan and be able to hold Poirier down? Poirier has a huge problem with people who can threaten submissions. Not wrestlers like a Michael Chandler, because Michael Chandler doesn't really have submissions, you know, but BSD, who has the ability to get you to the ground and also threaten submissions. I mean, look how many times Poirier has been rear naked choked. It's that's BSD's bread and butter. And then you look on the feet, I think it's pretty clear for Poirier. I do think Benoit can have a little bit of success, but his striking's pretty simple, pretty easy to game plan for. He's got a left body kick, a left high kick, a straight left, and sometimes he gets wild. Sometimes he gets a little unorthodox and a little crazy, and you don't want to do that in front of Poirier. And it's really a tough fight to call. If I had to give it a lean at this moment before I do that all my tape study and break it down, I'd have to lean a little bit on the Benoit Saint Denis side. And I hate saying that. Like you just seen in the video here, we have Poirier jumping for a guillotine against Dan Hooker and being semi-controlled, not long, but putting himself in a bad position because he has sometimes his risk and reward does not line up, and you don't want to be jumping for guillotines. And I do think there might be an opportunity to jump for one, and I think he's gonna take it. And I just think he needs to stay away from that. Be basic, keep it on the feet, because man, I think his risk of being submitted in this fight is very, very high. But yeah, I'm going to talk to you about this, and then we got Oliveira versus Arman, and I got a few other topics I want to talk about. I got another video coming soon. I'll talk to y'all about that at the end. But Arman versus Charles Oliveira. Now, my take on this fight's a little more simple. So, I think both guys on the feet have the ability to be hurt. We've seen Arman against, I want to say, Joaquim Silva, that hurt Arman very bad, like bad. And then we see Charles Oliveira, who's hurt pretty often, a lot. He gets hurt almost every single fight he's in. And I just think, that Arman is going to stand kind of similar to the Islam game plan. I think he's going to keep it standing on the feet, and I think he's going to keep it very rudimentary, very simple, and he's going to be throwing a jab, a straight left. I don't even know if he'll kick that much, and I think he's just going to try to tag Oliveira until he falls to him back, and then he's going to follow him to the ground, and the submission is live, or he grounds and pounds. I definitely see a submission here for Arman, but you can't count out Charles Oliveira. I think very early in this fight, we're going to be able to see who's going to implement their game plan, who's going to have that striking advantage, which I think is Oliveira. So it's how fast can Arman land that shot, because I don't think he wants to stand for a prolonged amount of time. I think he has to slow this fight down. That's his key to victory. But I do think he pulls it out. I do think he gets it done. I think he's able to hurt Charles Oliveira, fall him to the ground, get a submission similar to the Islam, and then I think we're going to have Islam versus Arman Saryukin that I think goes very similar to the first time, except a more dominant fashion for Islam. But man, I don't know though. I'm telling you right now, I could really see Charles Oliveira getting this fight. taking it. And I think he's going to be favored to do so. I think he's favored to win this fight. So I don't think I'm on the, what do you call it, the right side of the vote here. I just, man, I like youth. You know what I mean? The person that has taken less damage in their career. Uh, when Armin got hurt, I think that's because his damage level was very, very. His awareness was very low. Like he didn't think that Joakim had was able to hurt him. That's what happens whenever you're young and pretty much undefeated. You don't think you can be hurt. You don't think the danger is as high as it is, and that could hurt him in the Oliveira fight. Or he went back to the drawing board, shored some things up, and got ready for this next fight against who he knows is a killer. But all in all, I do think it's a bad matchup for Oliveira. Just like I thought Benny D was a bad matchup for Oliveira, and he proved that wrong. But next, and I'm not gonna talk about this long, but this is my favorite fight in the entire year. The only reason I'm not talking about this long is because I'm making its own video for this. Sean Strickland versus another DDP, Dricus du Plessis. Man, this fight is everything we could have asked for. Like, we are so blessed. We got a now rivalry. We have a bad blood. And we have a fight where people's 50-50 on this fight. There's a Sean Strickland side and there's a Dricus side. It is dead in the middle. Like, when's the last time we had champions? We've had so many dominant champions. The Adesanyas, the Usmans, the John Joneses, so on and so on. These guys dominate their division. They dominate. Like, no one can hold a candle to them. And now we're in this bubble where Sean Strickland's champ, and he could stay champion for a while. Or he could lose in his next fight. But I'm going to tell you all now, this is the only thing I'm going to really touch on. I think Sean Strickland batters Dricus. Hot take? I'd say so. I think he batters him. I think he makes Dricus not want to be there. I think this is a horrible stylistic matchup, and what I bet when this fight happens will show you how confident I am on that. I think Dricus is Strickland is a horrible matchup for Dricus. I think Dricus is going to try to find his head. He's not going to be able to. Strickland is so awkward. The jabs aren't going to find Strickland like they did when Dricus was fighting Whitaker. Strickland is he's just going to pepper him. Is he going to obliterate him and just knock him out? Probably not. But I don't think he needs to. I think he's going to stand back. I think he's going to use a very basic fundamentals of that 1-2. And I think he's going to put damage on Dricus. And I think Dricus gasses out by the 4th or 5th round. And, man, there's so much more I want to talk about. That's why I'm making this own video about the things Dricus said, the MMA guru said. There's a lot of things I want to touch on, but I gotta save it for the next video. So I just know, man, this fight, we're getting it early in the year. How more? This is my favorite. I'm talking about, unless you could put Francis Ngannou versus Aspinall or John Jones, which I would rather it be Aspinall, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But this is my favorite fight of the entire year. I know. But moving on. Francis Ngannou silences Dana White again. Again. He does it again. Francis Ngannou is the motherfucking man. Look at this beautiful motherfucker on your screen. This dude went through so much adversity to get here and start this journey. And then the adversity of thinking about that, say, you had these realistic dreams. They're very realistic to you, like going to college for something. And everybody, in your family, everybody's saying you're not going to be able to do that. No one's done that before. You can't break this generation. There's no way you can go and do that. He said, say less. Watch. Watch what I do. And he goes and does it. The man goes and does it. And almost beats Tyson Fury. I mean, some would say he did. It was a split decision. How do you look at that fight? So he almost does that. Knocks the man down. Gets a bag. And now he's going into a fight with Anthony Joshua, which I think he will win. I think that is the... I've said this before the Tyson Fury fight. I said this way before. I think Francis Ngannou beats Anthony Joshua. I think it is a stylistic matchup. Do I think Anthony Joshua is picking him apart up until Francis knocks him out? Yes, I do. But I don't think Francis can be hurt. I mean, obviously he can, but I mean, he's shown no ability to be hurt. And I think he's going to land a bomb on Anthony Joshua. But, man, did y'all notice when we did the press conference for MMA the week after the Francis Ngannou Tyson Fury fight? Did you notice how there was no interviewers asking Dana questions about the fight? I mean, if you're a fan the way I'm a fan, a hardcore fan, the first thing when Francis got that done was, what is Dana White saying right now? That was the question you were asking yourself. And not one thing was said by him. I think he mentioned one thing. But he has to take the MMA journalist or have somebody take them in a room and say, this is the questions you're not going to ask today. Here are the topics you can speak on. He has to do that because that was the world right there. And you know he's hating himself, man. You know he knows I dropped the ball. He had something special with Francis, and how could he not see it? When you think of a heavyweight champion in your head, you think of Lesnar's. You think of, oh no, Bigfoot Silva, like a dude that size. You don't think of a DC, a Cain Velasquez. You think of a Francis motherfucking Ngannou. You know what I'm saying, dude? A brick wall. From that alone, you know you have something special. You know you have something special. Why not just come to an agreement with the man? Like, I just don't understand it. And I'm so mad, dude. I'm so mad because the matchups that were lost by greed is just insane. And not on Francis's part. He was deserved everything he was asking for. I mean, he knew the talent that he had. Like, first off, I think Francis would have ran through John Jones. I think John Jones has nothing for Francis. And I think out of the Aspinall and John Jones, who would I've rather seen fight? Francis against John or Aspinall? And that would have been Aspinall 10 out of 10 times. So the thing about Aspinall is his dad was like the first black belt in England. Like, the dude is a jiu-jitsu wizard. Like, so we know he has that. We know Francis has very good wrestling. And John Jones has great wrestling. John's not going to have the success on the ground that he thinks he would against Aspinall. So, and on the feet, I think it's a bloodbath for Aspinall. For John Jones. So, I would have absolutely, my dream fight is Aspinall versus Francis Ngannou, and I don't think we'll ever see it. And that's super unfortunate, man. But I do think the UFC, after this is all said and done, will go back on their word and would accept Francis back to the UFC if the opportunity ever presented itself. But moving on. Look, y'all, I got a topic about MMA Guru that's been bugging me a little bit. I'm gonna tell you a little story. So, look, I go to UFC Nashville, my first UFC event. Yes, it was a dud. There was 2 finishes. Carlton Harris, I think he darshed Jeremiah Wells, and then we had Dustin Jacoby, who knocked out Kennedy Nzechu, and that was the only two. And it's where Corey Sandhagen found out there was Nurmagomedov in his bloodline, and so he became a wrestler and grappled Rob Font. And man, I had T-shirts I got made and everything for the Nurmagomedov versus Sandhagen fight. I was so excited. I knew how good that fight was gonna be, and man, what a dud of a card. But dude, I had a blast. We ended up we was put up way in the back, uh, the nosebleeds, and we ended up getting seats like 5 seats, 5 rows from the front row. We snuck up there, and these people never came, and it was like the whole stadium was filled, and nobody came in this one section, and there was like 5 seats, which there was 4 seats, and there was four of us, and it just fit us perfect. And anyway, we're at the ceremonial weigh-ins the day before the fights, and I get picked out of the whatever you call it, out of the stadium, out of everybody that was there to come on stage, and it was because I was wearing a Howlerhead shirt that I got from Josh Emmett. Okay, and I go back there. I go up there. If you go watch the Nashville ceremonial weigh-ins, Sandhagen versus Font, you'll see me right there, standing up there, cheesing like hell. I mean, my dream just came true, and man, it was. I got to meet fighters, got to meet Dana White. Like, dude, it was a blast. But my point by this story is, I didn't go big time after that. We got MMA Guru going out to South Africa, meeting Dricus, Cameron Simon, talking with the embedded crew, all this, and now he's big time. He's big time now. No, that's not my bone to pick. I just seen that in his comments a lot. People's like, oh, he's too good now. He's too good. But my problem with it, look, I'm Team Sean Strickland, dude. I fucking love Sean Strickland. I think he's an inspiration. I think he says a lot of goofy ass shit, right? But the dude, you cannot deny him. The dude is an inspiration from where he came from. And I came from a very similar background. Not the abuse, but just low income. I know what it's like. And I think what Dricus said was absolutely wrong. And a lot of people's like, oh, you can dish it, but you can't take it. Man, he doesn't cross the line. He talks about gender roles, Dricus and his coach. You know what I mean? Like, Ian Gary's wife. That was maybe a little too far, but it wasn't. I mean, it was all public. You know what I'm saying? And yes, I don't agree with it. And we got the Guru here, who's just all over Dricus right now because, he's kissing him and, grabbing his dick out there and, what do you call it, South Africa. And now he's came back and he's like, man, now I forever have to ride on their genitals because I met them and they're they like took his virginity. It was his first MMA fighter he met in person, so it took his virginity. And now he feels indebted to them. But come on, Guru, get it together. But look, y'all, I want to talk to y'all about what I got coming soon. I'm going to be doing betting breakdowns. I promise regular. I ain't even going to try to say it. Just very often. And I'm going to also. I want to have. I'm going to try a few things out, like formats about how I do my video, and I want to see what you all catch on to. Would y'all rather see pictures, kind of like the Weasel, how he does his videos, or would you rather see videos? You know what I mean? While you're listening to me talk about MMA, just leave your input. Tell me what you would like to see, what you think MMA podcasters could be doing, but they're not doing. Man, throw me some bones. Just tell me some shit you would love to see, and I'll try it out. I really want this channel to take off, dude. This means everything to me. I would love to make this a career. I literally study MMA, watch MMA nonstop every day. This whole the month we've been off, I'm on my phone watching videos. I've rewatched probably every fight in the past 2 years in the past month. So, man, I'm just a huge fan, and I love talking about it. And I see some of these people's takes, and I'm just like, man, that dude's off. That dude's a casual, and I think we deserve some real MMA fans talking about this stuff.